Tennessee Tech head coach Dewayne Alexander. Big matchup this week. They're going to take on nationally ranked Furman. That's on Thursday night, 6 Central. ESPN Plus will have that. So, coaches, some thoughts about your team heading into their first competition of the year.
Well, we're like every football coach in America right now. We're excited to play. We are tired of going against each other. We've had a very competitive camp, the most competitive camp since I've been the head football coach here. And what I mean by that is how hard our guys have practiced against each other, our offensive line against our defensive line, our DBs versus our wide receivers. It has been very spirited and very competitive every single practice we've had. We've actually had to numerous times try to, call our guys off each other, like, hey, we're on the same team. We don't need to hurt each other, that type of thing. But it's a whole lot easier to call them off than it is to try to get them to get after each other. So we've had a tremendous camp. We've been able to stay healthy, which is good. Always have some guys, bumped and bruised, but we've been able to, we're going to be able to put our best football team on the bus to go over to Furman, which we're excited about. So very good camp. Got a lot of experienced guys. We would expect that. We have 35 football players on our team that are playing their 4th, 5th, and some of them even their 6th season of college football. So it's the most experienced team we've had here. That's not just comprised of players who are returning that have been in our program, which we have a lot, but also we were able to add 12 transfers that are all, experienced players that have either 4-year transfers, grad transfers, or junior college transfers that have a lot of college experience. So we have an experienced team, and we're excited to go and play this game.
Thanks, Coach. So if you have anybody has a question for Coach Alexander, let me know down in the chat. I will call on you. So, in the week 1, we have a lot of OVC teams playing FBS opponents, and we have 2 that are playing non-D1. It's really you and EIU are playing, really good FCS matchups. So, talk about just, first of all, before elaborating on the Furman, just getting a quality FCS opponent on your schedule.
I think it's always important. And those games, quite honestly, are hard to find. The trying to find a home and home series, with an FCS opponent, because again, all the FCS teams, everybody's having to schedule that FBS game, that game for financial reasons. You're having to schedule that game. So just trying to find, and then with your conference schedule, of course, our conference schedule has been, you can't keep up with it, kind of, because you're trying to set these games out sometimes 2 and 3 and 4 years, ahead of time. And then with the constant change of our conference and conference schedule, it's kind of hard to find the home and home dates. For example, Furman, we played in 21, and for different reasons with their schedule and ours, we're just now returning the game, here 2 years later. The old days where you played, you played a team at home on September 2nd, turned around the next year and you played at their place. Those are harder to find, but we've had the home and homes with Sanford. We've had this one with Furman set up, and we have some set up in the future. We have a home and home, a 4-year series set up with UT Chattanooga coming up moving forward, but not having to try to find, FCS opponents where you got to travel 8 or 10, 12 hours to play, trying to find some regional opponents. Again, this one to me makes sense geographically. It's a 4.5-hour trip, and they're in a neighboring conference, and so we're excited about the matchup. Clay Hendricks and Furman, great tradition, and a first class group of people over there. So I think those are the type of teams you want to play.
And they obviously had 10 wins last year, and I'm just looking at 18 returning starters. So what have you seen from them on film? Like, what are they going to really do well?
They do everything well. I mean, there's not a weakness in this team. And when you look for, hey, or some things maybe, where they could be a personnel weakness or schematic, weakness, maybe something you could take advantage of, and there's not one. I mean, there's not one. I'll save everybody else some time whenever they get ready to scout Furman. There's not weaknesses in this football team. They're very experienced and physical in the offensive line, defensive line. To me, that's where it starts. Quarterback as a 6th-year guy, has played a ton of football games. Very good player. Huff is a very good football player. I mean, he's a man. You can tell he's just an older guy, experienced guy. He's got a lot of moxie, and finds ways to keep his team moving. And very gritty guy. Kicking game, again, experienced long snapper, experienced kicker, experienced punter. They cover special teams very well, very solid in all schemes. They run a kickoff back for a touchdown last year. They blocked 6 kicks. They led FCS football in kicks that were blocked. Defensively, they were ranked top 5 defensively in the country last year, and offensively, again, big running back, physical. So they're just a really good football team. And they don't, typical Furman team, they're a disciplined team. They don't turn the football over. They're not going to do things to beat themselves. You're going to have to go in there and you're going to have to block well, and you're going to have to tackle well, and you're going to have to take care of the ball, and you're going to have to control everything you control in order to be competitive in the game. So very good team. They won 10 games last year. Really, had a great chance to beat Incarnate Word, in the playoffs there in the second round of the preseason pick to win the Southern Conference this year. And most polls are ranked anywhere from 3rd to 6th. So we certainly we're not wading into the shallow end of the pool. We're jumping off in the deep end, right out of the gate. But it really gives us, our guys are excited about the game. Okay, we're excited about going to play this team. We're ready to take the next step as a program. We really feel that, and in order to do, what better way to do it than go play an FCS opponent just like you are, and see where you stack up and match up.
Flip that. Where have you seen the most growth in your team since the first practice of preseason until today?
Well, the most growth I've seen is obviously defensively, secondary wise, and just causing turnovers. We're much more active on defense. We have new defense coordinator, Adam Brathwaite, who came to us from, he was with Russ Huseman at Chattanooga and then at Richmond, and was at Charlotte most recently with Will Healy. But he's brought I think an added aggression to us defensively. We're causing so many more turnovers, getting our hands on, footballs, knocking footballs out, doing more things on defense, I think, to be aggressive and to try to create some negative down and distance situations. So, I think just the aggression of our defense is something I've seen a great, and then just the physicality of our offensive and defensive lines. Those guys have battled all preseason camp. I mean, we are bigger and stronger than we have been, and like I said, just more mature in every area. So just the maturity for our guys to come out and approach each practice and to be and practice the way you need to practice, because this game here is this is no different than the ones we're getting ready to walk into. Okay, the rest of the year, you're going to have to bring your A game, and one thing you're going to have to bring is you're going to have to bring some physicality to these games, especially this one to start with, to have an opportunity. So those are the 2 big areas I've seen in our teams: aggression on defense and our physicality up front.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck on Thursday night, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate all you do to try to, create exposure stuff for all of our programs. Thank you.